I always said, you know, shooting a carbine or an AR or something is kind of like riding a bike. You never really forget how to do it. Shooting a handgun's like an art form in a way. You got to have everything right. It comes together. You know, you're always studying to become better at it. You're never super proficient. There's a million things that go into it. But if I could only have one gun, if I lost everything, you know, and all my guns were gone, I'd sell everything I had to go buy a rifle first. You know, I started shooting at an early age. You know, grew up in a neighborhood, had some real close friends that got me shooting early on, and I think I was 12 when I got my first rifle for Christmas. Started shooting, you know, 22s growing up. You know, always infatuated with it. Always loved, you know, going to the range. Got a job working for a brass recycling company, shell casing recycling company called the Brass Exchange here in Atlanta when I got back home. And that kind of turned into shooting competitively again and got real serious. And Vail was kind of born at the same time I got back into that job. Started making gear, you know, about the same time I started shooting competitively again. So I think the first match I ever shot, I was running my own holster and everything at that time already. I've always been a hands-on kind of guy. I've always been artistic. I've always been, you know, I built a guitar one time. You know, I've always, you know, kind of dabbled in different things and constructing and making. As long as I can ever remember. Got my first handgun when I got out of college. I was like, hey, I need a holster for this thing. I need to start carrying this gun. And ordered a holster, and I think I was quoted 22 weeks for a holster. Went online, figured out, you know, more or less how to do it. Ordered the stuff to make it. Made a holster, you know, that weekend. Terrible, ugly, hideous, but it worked. From there, I was just like, I can make something better. I can make something better. Next thing I know is that all my friends who, you know, I'm shooting matches with, I need something for my gun. You know, can you do this? Still working a couple jobs at the time, but it ended up turning into a business to where, you know, thousands of holsters, tens of thousands of holsters are made. We pride ourselves on how we make our holsters. Everything is handcrafted. That's where my heart lies, is making better gear than what's available. I always say the gear we made today is better than the gear we made yesterday. And that you know, I firmly believe that. The first holster I ever made was actually for you know, a light-bearing holster, and it was I think a Streamlight or something. And what caught my eye with INFORCE is the compact size of it. You know, the output, just the manipulation of it is. You know, there's a lot of good stuff out there. You know, talking about handguns, there's a lot of good guns out there that are accurate, that'll run, that are built well, but they don't run right. You know, their shootability isn't there. It's just they don't manipulate like you'd expect them to, or as efficiently as you'd like them to. So that's kind of what got me on the INFORCE is, you know, went out and bought a couple of them and shot them. And it may not always be dark outside, but you know, there's a dark room somewhere. You know, having a light on a gun I think is imperative. You know, having a handheld is imperative. Just the size and the usability of the light is you know, what really kind of got me there. Is you can, you know, that's always the thing, is it's uncomfortable to wear a light on a handgun, but not with the INFORCE. You know, they work great. They're great tools for the job. The breakdown in the mindset of the game is something people completely don't see or understand, is the complexity of these games, especially 3-gun. I mean, there's 3 guns, there's multiple options of each stage, you know, different ways to shoot each stage. It's, you know, knowing when to pick up, you know, when your loads are going to be and stuff like that. There's always an advantage of being in good shape, being conditioned, and, you know, being explosive in your movement. Basic, you know, lifting, conditioning, explosive movements, running, you know, anything you can do to kind of get an advantage up. And that's the thing, is I'm not the best shooter out there, but you know, sometimes I'm afforded an advantage by being a little bit quicker getting somewhere, you know, being a little more explosive out of a shooting position. I'm real big on defensive style training, you know, defensive mindset, or offensive in a lot of ways, you know, depending on how you look at it. You know, I used to shoot a couple types of pistol matches and, you know, think that was cool, but I was wrong. You know, I needed to go out and seek, you know, all the training I can get, talking specifically about the martial arts, or, you know, MMA, boxing, jiu-jitsu, all that kind of stuff. That's very recently become, in a lot of ways, almost my #1 priority. It's helped my mental game a lot. It's helped me be in better shape. I love it all. You know, I love trying new things out, taking a couple trips out west and getting in the woods for a couple days and kind of disappearing and losing cell phone service is kind of always, you know, refreshing and stuff.